Hmm. Well, good morning. It's March 21, 2025. That music was Hans Zimmer. I attended a movie about him, his work, 2 nights ago, and it was very, very remarkable. So welcome. I'm really glad you're here. More than really glad. I'm absolutely delighted. I found a poem this morning. It's been quite a while since I've come across it, actually. William Stafford, who was the poet laureate of the United States at one point. He lived here in Portland. Enough said. So please allow these words, pardon me, to just flow through your heart. It's called being a person. Be a person here. Hang on, there's that. Be a person here. Stand by the river. Invoke the owls. Invoke winter, then spring. Let any season that wants to come here make its own call. After that sound goes away, wait. A slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to include sky, stars, all space, even the outracing, expanding thought. Come back and hear the little sound again. Suddenly, this dream you are having matches everyone's dream, and the result is the world. If a different call came, there wouldn't be any world, or you, or the river, or the owls calling. How you stand here, how you sit here is important. How you listen for the next things to happen. How you breathe. Be a person here. Stand by the river, invoke the owls, invoke winter, then spring. Let any season that wants to come here make its own call. After that sound goes away, wait. A slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to include sky, stars, all space, even the outracing, expanding thought. Come back and hear the little sound again. Suddenly, this dream you are having matches everyone's dream, and the result is the world. If a different call came, there wouldn't be any world, or you, or the river, or the owls calling. How you sit here is important. How you listen for the next things to happen. How you breathe. How you stand here. How you sit here. How you are here is important. How you listen for the next things to happen. How you breathe. The simplest instruction for our meditative being is very simply be awake. And not, of course, simply awake from sleep, but also awake from the dream state. The song of the self, I, me, mine, mine. All that wanting that the mind does, that the self is. I want this, I want that, I want. And I don't want, I don't like this. This is unpleasant, I don't want it. And the energetic states of restlessness and agitation, worry, planning, remembering, figuring out how to make things better. And the old familiar sleepy dullness. I just had a sweet memory arise. Several years ago, I was in Costa Rica and visited a sloth rescue sanctuary. There's nothing cuter than a baby sloth. They are the essence of cute. And sloths sleep most of the time because their food supply is very meager. They don't have much food value. They go to the ground once a week to expel their waste. Most of the time, they just curl up somewhere. It's an attractive state sometimes, familiar sloth and torpor. And then there's doubt. Doubt, which is the practice killer, because it's hard to see when it's here. I don't think I can do this. I don't think this works. I'm not getting anywhere. Life is still so hard. How can this be working? And so let's wake up. We've already done 9/10 of the work by getting here, by being here in community, refuge, and Sangha. We might follow the Buddha's guidance and use in-breathing and out-breathing, as well as the rest of the body, which exist only in the present moment, as our point of reference. Be here now. Whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, clear or confused, is this a mind which is calm and quiet? Or is it a mind filled with thought, maybe tumult? However it is, the reality is, true reality is, it is exactly like that. There is a prison meditators fall into, sometimes for decades. And that is the belief that to do this properly, one must stop the mind. The mind does stop, but not through willpower. It's through love that it stops. Because in love, there is room for everything. There's room for the restless mind. There's room for the self-hatred mind. There's room for the hatred mind. There's room for holding grudges and for forgiveness. There's room for great peace. There's room for anguish. And this means that we can settle back into this moment and acknowledge that which we really are, which is that we are awake. We are that which is awake. Noticing the great miracle, lost in some fantasy, some worry, some trying to figure it out, and then mysteriously present. Some months ago, I was walking in the night on my way to dinner at Brighton Bush Hot Springs. The mind was quiet. I wasn't particularly trying to meditate. I was just there walking in the dark down the road. In an eye blink, a whole world appeared. It was a world that had some worry, some tension, and it all took place in the course of one step. By the time the foot that the worry began in ended, that whole world of wandering mind had vanished. The self of that moment was born and took its form and then utterly disappeared. Not a new experience, but mostly not noticed. And so we are present here with perhaps the intention to remain, to return to mindfulness of breathing in and out. In love, there's room for everything. We are mysteriously, utterly mysteriously passing through this lifetime. It's so precious to come together like this. A couple of years ago, might be 3 now, a person appeared in my life named Kimberly Ransom. She had a remarkable life history. She was quite an artist in high school, sold her paintings. She then got extreme chronic fatigue syndrome and could hardly do anything. And she taught herself to play the guitar and the piano. And then it mysteriously went away. And she set off to do 3 years of house concerts around the country. And then she turned to her painting again and became a well-known painter in Portland. And then she turned to photographer and became portrait photographer. And then she appeared in my life, in the life of PIMC, when she was dying. She joined one of my groups for a year, and we had the privilege of being part of her support system. And I'd like you to become aware of hearing, and I'm going to attempt to play one of her songs. Aaron, would you tell me if the sound is okay? I'll watch for your thumbs up or down.
Coffee on an old wood stove. It's 5 a.m. My feet are frozen and my father sets a log upon the fire, and it's almost dawn. I was just a girl when the leaves turned silver inside, and spring thaw brought the river back when the ice had died. You gave me the answer to why the river became wide, and it's almost time. Time for light to fade, time for me to say, you gave me the feet that I stand upon at last. Walk you through these memories that make up all my past, 'cause it's almost time. And I remember the smell of laughter and the kitchen basin bathtub. Water sweet, running quickly down the dirt road. My father I would meet at daylight's end. On that old tire swing you would push me endlessly, like the days and months and years of love you've given me. I just wander off when I was tired or was bored, but you still had time. Now it's time for light to fade. It's time for me to say, you gave me the feet that I stand upon at last. To walk you through these memories, make up all my past. It's time for light to fade. It's time for me to say, you gave me the feet that I stand upon at last. To walk you through these memories and make up all my past, 'cause it's almost time.
Remembering the reality of these lives of ours. How stunningly brief. How absolutely precious each human contact is. Much of a gift it is to join each other like this before setting off into another day. How shall I be in the world today? Shall I be identified with the neurotic mind and the sense of lack? Or shall I remember the fullness of this? The Tibetans have a term, they speak a lot about emptiness of self. And there's a term I really like, they call it the fullness of emptiness. The fullness of emptiness. The crows have just arrived. I'm really quite good about it. I get their food out before I start this broadcast so that they can eat when they get here. Please become aware of please become aware of the transient collection of energies that is what you think of as your body. It's a strong identification we have. Notice the life of the contact with the chair, the life in the hands and arms, the life in the face, the throat, and inhabiting the eyes. Form the intention, which occurs not in eyes but in mind. Forming the intention to allow the eyes to open. And then somehow watching how you do that, allowing the eyelids to lift and be mindful of seeing.